What's up, guys? It's RB2, and welcome to Pokemon White Solo Challenge Tepig versus the Unova region. Tepig's a very good starter, and I had a lot of fun using it, although I will admit power creep was a little noticeable. Rules of the road, only Tepig in battle, no exploits, no usable items like potions in battle, but held items are okay. We'll be using the Violet a lot this run, you'll see. And during the first few fights, they'll be seen on the screen. I'm just going to talk about Tepig real quick. Tepig has some pretty decent stats in the HP and attack department. Its speed is a little bit lower, but you're going to see we're going to be able to circumvent that a little bit easily with one of the moves that we get very early on, and will be kind of our fire staple for throughout most of the run. And Tepig, definitely definitely, I think, did a little bit better than Oshawott. Oshawott was my first time really messing around with this. Tepig, I felt like I had a lot more comfort with it, and I think you'll see that there weren't as many battles where like I restarted multiple times. Here's the first Bianca fight. And she's pretty easy. We kind of washed the floor with her. I tackled the little pup twice for the KO, and she doesn't really do much to me. I didn't even heal in between fights. That's how confident I was. And tackle again, Snivy, and I end up finishing it with a Ember to secure the KO since tackle wasn't going to do it. And up next we have the Sharon fight. We have a lot of rival fights early on. He starts off with Oshawa, but luckily I fought all the trainers nearby before I fought this fight, and we have some pretty nice stats, and his water guns are 3 at KOing us, but luckily we just deal so much damage, and his Purloin doesn't have enough special attack to really do anything. Um, these are our stats. We got a Bashful Nature, which nothing increased, but nothing decreased, and personally I think that's a lot better for Tepig since we end up relying on all of its stats. Low special defense again, and I'm kind of nervous since Oshawott had low special defense, and I got tossed around like a little otter, like close to the end game because there were so many strong special attackers. It's time for Cress, and Cress is an interesting fight. I wouldn't say he's too difficult, but I mean, you usually don't win on your first try. We do have Flame Charge. This is the fire step I was talking about. Flame Charge boosts our speed and it's 60 base power, and it two shots a little pup, but we can't really rely on Flame Charge. We have to rely on Tackle since it's slightly stronger. Thanks to Pampor resisting, and I did make a mistake here. Should have Flame Charged, would have won, but wanted to be at level 16 since you never know when you're gonna need to grind, and figure level 16 would be the most sanitary for me in terms of my sanity. And we beat Crest this time. We just outmuscle his water guns, survive on 5 HP, but we win, and that's really all that matters in the end is that we won and didn't take too many attempts. We have the Sharon fight here. There's a lot of fights in between, so I want to talk about something that we get that I'm going to start implementing pretty soon. Rollout. Rollout is a really good move. Like, I tell you, Rollout is just such a great move. You don't know what it does. It's 30 base power, which you might be, well, why is this such a good move? And I tell you, it has 90 accuracy. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, but for those of you who have used Rollout in casual playthroughs, you'll know that Rollout can be a very nice move. It increases in power every single turn, maxing out at 480 base power for the last hit. And honestly, with 90 accuracy being pretty generous, it's pretty good. We have the Lenore fight now, and big thing about Lenore is that she starts us off with an Intimidate. So Flame Charge does good jam damage, and Takedown does a lot, and unfortunately, I missed the KO on the takedown, and we lose. I end up grinding a few levels. We get to level 25, and We try again. I flame charge and then I go for rollout. But rollout decides it doesn't want to behave, and this is the problem with the rollout is that you're just sometimes not going to hit it. So attempt three, I think I attempted again since I missed rollout so many times. Yeah. So this is how it's supposed to go. Flame charge and use defense curls that we start at 60 base power rollout, and you'll see that it just does so much damage to the Herdier, even if while we're intimidated. We almost KO Watchog, and luckily we had the Chesto Berry so we don't get intimidated. And now we have Berg. You know, Berg was pretty easy. Dwebble kind of bullied us a little bit. It's just Dwebble has high defense and it's neutral for fire thanks to its rock typing, and it got a lot of sand attacks off. I almost reset, but I just said, hey, why not? 19 HP, and I miss all my flame charges. It gets a Razor Leaf crit twice, leaving us at 1 HP. Then we finally land the flame charge. And as you see here, I did get the Violet, and I put it on Tepig. Just we need that extra defense. The defense boost really helps out, and you'll see with this fight and the next Sharon fight that's coming up, Herdier takedowns, which were brutal to us, just aren't doing anything now. Like, she just cannot hurt us with any of her Pokemon. We just take so little damage, and this fight's pretty easy. Her strongest Pokemon is level 20, which is Lenore's strongest Pokemon, which is a little surprising when you think about it. So Sharon's up next. He starts off with a dub and boosts my speed with Flame Charge, and luckily it survives the Sandstorm, and we are able to get the rollout started. And one of the reasons I went for rollout is his Duat loves to spam Water Sport, as you see right there, and rollout doing some nice damage. It's basically going to OHKO everything else at this point, and even his Liepard evolved Pokemon just can't survive a hit. The end fight's next. End isn't really worth talking about since the only reason I lose is I get kind of lucked out. I think I fought Ed and like a few other trainers where I just kept on getting lucked out by Swagger. It was definitely not my day that day. So you'll see that I lose, but End's very easy to beat actually, if you don't get swaggered. And honestly, at this point in the game, our moveset is Flame Charge, Rollout, Assurance, and Return. Return is a great move. Best normal stab in this game. Just give it to your Pokemon if it's a physical attacker. And we have Elisa here. Elisa, I don't know. I always call her Elsa. We open up with a Flame Charge to outspeed everything, and that puts us in range to outspeed the Emolga and to KO it with rollout, and I'll be perfectly honest, we just kind of take the game from there. It's over. There's nothing she can do. I mean, her Zebstrika just can't do enough because we have a Violet, and Sharon's up next, and he is a little bit difficult. He likes to change who he leads off with very often. He can't decide whether or not to lead off with Liepard or his flying type, and you'll see that rollout strats are just really destroying this team, and honestly every time you run into a brick wall, it's just I beat it within the same day I reach it. That's how Tepig's been, and that's why I think Tepig's been a lot better. Elsa, there's not been a single gym leader that's taken me more than a single day to beat, more than an hour to beat, to be honest. So Clay's up next, and I should have gone for the return here, and I didn't, and that kind of costs me the victory actually, because as you see, Swagger just chunks my health. So I try again. I did level up to 39, I want to say, and return this time. Return OHKOs. Polito comes out. Return. He's gonna super potion here, so I flame charge to get my speed back up and return again. Surprisingly, when Excadrill comes up, he Hold Claws. At this point, it's over. He's a Ranger Hyper Potion, but we've got enough power points to just win us the game. And if we got in crit, it would have been over. So playing was pretty easy considering the fact I didn't have to grind much. Bianca fight here, nothing really interesting happens. That's why I'm speeding over it. I will say this though, this is the last time you fight Bianca before her last fight, and the power level difference is surprisingly much more drastic than any other rival. I think it's because it's such a long time where she is when you fight. So we have this Ed fight. This is the last Ed fight. Before champion, and this fight kind of kicked my butt. Now, what I should have done, I'm going to talk about this over the first two battles, is I should have gone back and got the Grass Knot TM. Boldore, it's basically a 1 to KO for Boldore for Grass Knot. And Boldore has just such high physical defense, and we don't have really strong attacking moves. I mean, Assurance, base 60 power. Flame Charge, base 60 power, resisted. Return. It's 60 base power basically after the resist. And rollout is just too weak at the start for us to survive enough hits. And that's a Eviolite, by the way, if I remember correctly. So this is the winning attempt. I just get rollout to work. He keeps on trying to increase his defense, but luckily that's not really what you're supposed to be doing when you fight Tepig. You're just supposed to attack Power Gem, and at this point it's basically over because we can Flame Charge the rest of his Pokemon who are weak to Fire type moves. Ferroseed has no shot, even bulkiest Pokemon. And luckily we had enough HP to survive Iron Barb. So Skyla's next. She's okay. Swoobat's free. You get some speed boosts while you're at it. So you're able to outspeed everything else. And it does deal some damage. But we're pretty good. But then she sends out Swanna, and luckily she Aqua Rings, and she's giving me the fight at this point. If she had used Bubble Beam or something, we would have been screwed. But she doesn't do that, dumb AI, I guess. This is our stats at level 50. Good attack and whatnot. Just wish we had more special defense. I got a feeling it's going to be less than 100. So these are moves, and they're okay. But here's the Sharon fight, and you'll see that it's raining, so we are kind of at a disadvantage. Return and roll out strats, and I think it would have been fine, except yeah, I did not let rollout build up fast enough. So this is the second attempt for the Sharon fight, and just roll out. Honestly, roll out. There's really not much you need to do. Just roll out and you win. That's what Tepig has been. If Tepig was a rock type, this would have been amazing, but it's not. You can't get everything you want, and you're just seeing that, I lost again, but, basically what you need to do is you need to, just roll out and you win. And that's really what it is. Wait, I actually used return, dang it. Never mind. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you win. It's just, this was a pretty difficult fight since we can't really use our fire stabs, but we do get a really easy gym leader next. Bryson. Bryson's an Oko sweep. 1, 2. That crit matters, by the way. And 3. I mean, I don't even need to, play up the dramatics at all. So I know I've been, not uploading since October, November, I think it was. And I said that this video was going to be up in December and that maybe Snivy in January, and that was going to do showdown and whatnot. School just kind of got in the way. Uh, I just I couldn't stay focused on school, and I realized pretty quickly that this was most likely due to the fact that I was focusing too much on a channel with 0 subscribers, which is kind of a stupid thing when you think about it. Uh, and honestly, all these passion projects were to give me something to do during the pandemic while I was really bored. It just took too much time, and I am gonna try and upload this. I am going to try to get back into uploading somewhat more reasonably. I definitely will be trying to get back into speedrunning Lego battles if you care about that. I was just kind of burned out from trying to make stuff work, and also it felt good to take a break. I wasn't in it for very long, and I was honestly surprised that the Oshawott video was getting views for like the 20 people. I don't even know how many it's been at this point. Let me look it up. But it just wasn't really making the making the making the Oshawott video just took so much of my time, and I just couldn't see myself doing it. The 32 of you who have seen the video and the 3 of you who liked it, it just I definitely will upload these more. I will definitely try to make more of these. I have some big hopes for this year. This year is the 10th anniversary of Black and White. I can't believe that I'm saying that. So I want to make some videos, where I talk about Black and White. A little bit of Black 2 White 2. I've got something that I'm working on for Black 2 White 2 right now for the PWT, which I'm hoping I'll get done before the year's over with. My hope is, not just to make the video, but I'm going to have to get a bunch of Pokemon in the game. So I do have that, and honestly, if you listen to this and if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, thank you. I wasn't really expecting anyone to watch this, and I will try and get Snivy up. Hopefully by end of April, maybe early May. Back to the run now. Bianca, I talked about this a little bit earlier. I said that the power level really increases. This is what I'm talking about. It's raining half the time, so if you get this on a day where you're not raining, you're in slightly better shape. But even then, I'm not sure. Her Stoutland really is strong, and there's like not much you can do about it. And you need like a really powerful rollout to take out Semi-Poor, and I won't lie, this fight took me longer than Getsus. This is the one fight that I spent more time on than Getsus and Oshawott. And I know I was just saying, that, Tepig was pretty easy, didn't take me as long. That's because I worked on it every single day I could, unlike Oshawott, where I just kind of did that at my own pace. I felt like I wanted to get this done in, like, November, and, like, I wanted to get this done in December. I was crazy. This was such a dumb, stupid fight. And what you need to do is you need to roll out, you need to flame charge twice, I believe it is. And then once. And then you need rollout to hit. That was my other problem. Rollout just refused to work in this battle for some reason. I swear, Stella and Bright Powder. Once you get to the 4th power rollout for her Simipour, you're in pretty good shape. But I almost lost this fight. Still, after everything that happened, her Bouchard just did so much damage with her Psybeam, and we get a crit. We needed that crit. Really did need that crit. And then we have Iris. I grinded quite a bit for Iris because around this point you need to grind to like level 70. And I I flame charged and I did use rollout strats. I think she went for Dragon Tail, and that's how I outsped her fracture. And at this point, it's over. Her Iris, the eighth gym leader, reduced the rubble by rollout. We had the last Sharon fight. And I did play this a little bad the first fight. I was really concerned about the tech. He likes to spam detect for this specific fight. So I wasn't relying on rollout, and Samurai just murders me with the Aqua Tail. And I actually tried Grass Knot this time. This is the first time you're seeing Grass Knot. I used it in a hiker up to uh, Twist Mountain because the Boulder was just giving me too many nightmares. So Grass Knot puts us in range to KO even after the leftovers. I wasn't expecting that, and we have really good HP. Flame Charge does decent damage, and honestly, at this point, we are basically guaranteed victory. I mean, Rollout does that much, and so up now we have the Elite Four Grimsley. I grinded quite a bit, level 86. Um, and Grimsley goes pretty well. Grimsley's definitely the best one to start off with for Tepig, because all he has for Pokemon that do good against fire types is Crocodile, which doesn't resist. It does have Intimidate, but Grass Knight does a lot to Crocodile. Like, that was an Oko, and Crocodile is not that heavy, if I remember correctly. And at this point, it's over. Liepard can't do enough damage, and Bisharp is weak to Flame Charge. So, overall, this is a pretty easy victory. And we're just fast forwarding through all this so that, this is kind of consumable. Chantel's next. And this is where you see Grass Knot really come into play. So I go for Assurance on Pythagoras because it's just it's the best move to use on Pythagoras. It just deals just enough damage. Golor comes out, Grass Knot, Oko. Jellicent comes out, Grass Knot. I thought it was gonna Oko. It doesn't. It just has too much special defense, but it doesn't have enough special attack. And we survived the surf with the Violite. And Chandelure did scare me, but we get the victory. It was a pretty good battle. Marshall's next, and I'll come out and say it. We lucked out with Marshall. There was no reason for me to beat Marshall. Marshall has a ton of rock moves because he needs coverage for flying types, and he did not use them at all. Like, you're gonna see this from Sawk. Sawk used Karate Chop. It has Stone Edge. And it was definitely using Stone Edge against Oshawott. Like, everyone was using Stone Edge against Oshawott. So I don't know what was up with the AI. I just got really lucky. And right there, Conkeller should have freaking Stone Edge, and it just decided not to. It decided Hammer Arm was better. And Mian Shao doesn't get the right idea. It does Rock Slide, but it's just too little too late, and we beat Marshall. Definitely very lucky with this fight. Next we have Kalen. Kalen was the one I was most concerned about. Really strong special attacking army. Flame Charge to get the speed boost. Psychic does pretty good damage, but we KO the Ren Uniculus. It's pretty slow. Gothitelle is next. And we get a crit, and that crit matters. Musharna return. We get another crit. That crit matters. And Sigilith just return. And there's really nothing much more Sigilith can do. And normally I don't like, winning based off of crits, but I was happy with it, Tepig's been like that the entire game. Just really lucky wins at the very end. And I think Caitlyn's battle signifies that. The double crit just it really signifies how this run has been the entire game. Just lucking out. Oh, we have the end fight, and I want to say that I didn't beat N the first time, but the second time I definitely did much better. And the reason is I took too much damage off a Reshiram. I was trying for a rollout strats. For some reason, it did not use Reflect, which if you remember from Ashuad, it used Reflect on my dig, so I couldn't hit with a super effective move. So we try again with N. This time it goes much better. I go for Return because pure power, and it's my strongest move on this thing. Return 2 it KOs. We get a very good Stone Edge miss on the Caracosta, and that's what wins us the game. Really, is that Archeops, even if it hit us, it's in defeatist mode after our hit. Cling, even resisted Cling, which is pretty defensive, it crumbles to roll up. That's how strong it is. And Vanillux stands no chance against this mighty Boldrome we have. And then we have Ghetsis, and I hate Ghetsis. Ghetsis is the perfect example of how weak our moves are. I mean, you have to understand, our ghost coverage assurance is only 60 base power, and 120 base power is pretty good, but when that's after the super effective multiplier, it's a little concerning. And Pythagoras, loves the toxic stall. This one does. The other one, Will-O-Wisps. Chantel's Will-O-Wisps. This one loves to spam toxic protect, and it was over. Second toxic landed. And then I'll be perfectly honest. I attempted many times. I just grinded the level 100. Just felt like it was necessary. There's a little surprise at the end. If you've made it this far, and it just made sense to get to level 100 now. Almost 300 attack HP on a unevolved starter. That's pretty good. I got a lot of HP investment in this game, this playthrough, so that definitely helped. Pythagoras does poisons us, and it's basically over. Just how much damage are we gonna take from Bouffalant's mighty head charge, excuse me. And we take a lot with crit, and I just reset there. And this is the last run, and this is the god run, I'll be perfectly honest. We crit the Pythagoras, so off to a great start. Bouffalant wastes a full restore. Just barely misses recoil KO. But Bouffalant goes pretty well. It's reckless, by the way. Seismitoad, we OHKO with Grass Knot. Great move. Bisharp, we get the OHKO on Flame Charge. And Hydreigon, we get the crit. We needed that crit. I don't think we would have won without the crit. And Electros, it's trying its best, but it's just too little too late. And we've beaten Pokemon White with only Tepig. And I'll be perfectly honest, it was pretty good, but we do have one more fight. This is my best Cynthia attempt. And I probably could have done this more, but I wanted to start the Snivy run, which is currently at Bryson at the time of recording. And this is why Cynthia is just really hard. Her Spiritomb loves to spam double teams, so I don't really feel like dealing with the double teams, and you need rollout because Return isn't strong enough to OHKO the Milotic, even with the Self-Scarf, which I tried. It was really hard, and really difficult fight overall. Definitely really happy with Tepig, and if you really like Tepig, I recommend checking out Oshawott versus the Unova region. It's a great video, and stay in touch. Check up in maybe April or May, and Snivy will be up, and I've got some plans for this year. I'm going to be moving on to the next phase for a school shortly, so I should have some time on my hands to do this. This has been your host RB2, and I bid you adieu.